So, welcome to spring cleaning, clearing the way for a fresh perspective. I am thrilled to have you here with me this morning, and I can't tell you how thrilled I was to get up, look outside my window, and not see snow. For those of you who have not yet had a chance to meet, I'm Martha Carlson. I'm an executive coach and co-principal of the Bailey Consulting Group in Minneapolis. And at the Bailey Group, we improve the performance of organizations by enhancing the leadership skills and effectiveness of the leaders and teams that we coach. I have been with the Bailey Group since January of 2006. And prior to that, I was an executive with Ameriprise Financial Services for over 15 years. I see many familiar faces of folks that I worked with there, and thank you all for coming. At the Bailey Group, my particular area of expertise, my passion and my joy, is working with professional women to help them find their voice and their style in the workplace. As part of that, I founded and lead a program called The Exchange, a professional networking and development forum for women leaders just like yourselves. The Exchange brings groups of professional women together to exchange ideas, insights, information, and experience around topics of interest, build relationships and a network for support and inspiration and focus on their professional development. For 25 years, I have hid or otherwise tried to disguise the fact that I am in fact a home economics major. I graduated from the University of Iowa with a degree in home ec, which I have called everything from fashion merchandising to textiles and clothing to more recently a degree in liberal arts with a minor in business. I am here to say today, I'm proud to confess that I am a home ec major, and I'm talking to you about cleaning house. Many of you have probably heard me talk about the myth of multitasking. Yes, we like to believe as women we are the consummate multitaskers, that we can do it all, be it all, have it all at once. When in fact the reality is we can only do justice to one thing at a time, and we can only wear one pair of shoes at a time. If we have any in our closet, my kids like to remind me why you need so many pairs of shoes, you only have one pair of feet. But like the myth of multitasking, so too is the myth that we have infinite capacity. We fill our buckets to overflowing. Too many tasks, too many to-dos, commitments, things that drain our energy, things that sap us emotionally, sometimes even physically. So I like to think about spring cleaning as the release valve on the bucket. So letting some things out, letting go of some of that pressure in, so you can let some new things in. You know, what I'm saying is pretty intuitive and obvious. You know, clean house, clear the space, clear out room and make room for the new. And that's, you know, how we think about tasks and activities, and even how we think about things. But I want to challenge you today to think about cleaning house in another area of your life. And this has to do with your self-concept. How do you think about yourself? What do you believe about yourself to be true? What are those things that you hold so tightly, so habitually, that you don't even recognize that you do that? And these beliefs can be strengths, they can be weaknesses, or what have you. But to step back a minute and examine those things and decide, are there some things you need to stop doing? Are there some things you need to start doing? Or are there some things you need to change? So let me give you some examples of some beliefs that it might be time to sweep away. Let's start with that belief that I must act in ways that won't alienate others. I must be careful to not irritate people or otherwise piss them off, or they won't like me. Okay? So that's one belief. I've got to have everybody's approval, and I've got to do everything just right, just so. What about the belief that I am responsible for everyone's happiness? Everybody in my family, everybody in my work environment, all my friends, my parents, my sisters, my brothers. I am uniquely and solely responsible for their happiness. What about that belief? I know I'm not alone in this, that I must control everything, that I must be absolutely perfect, that I must do things 100 or 120%, or I will fail miserably, and my life will come to a crashing, screeching halt. How about that belief that I don't have the strengths or the skills or the creativity or the strategy or the implementation or whatever mindset or skill set that's needed to do my job? What about that notion that in order to be happy, I have to be thin or perfect or climb the ladder or be successful or whatever it is that we think we need to do, that we continue to postpone our happiness until we reach that place. So these are some of those old, dusty beliefs that it's really time to open up the windows, clear out the cobwebs, and replace them with some different ways of looking at ourselves and thinking. So instead of thinking about, I need to act carefully, I need to walk on eggshells, I need to tiptoe around or be very particular about what I say and what I do, think about acting in ways that are in congruence with your values, with the life that you want to lead. Thinking about the fact that I must like me, the heck with everybody else, right? And I know you've heard this before, but I will say it again. When you love yourself or when you like yourself, then other people are going to follow your lead. It's that simple. Instead of being responsible for others' happiness, taking on that heavy mantle, that heavy weight, that burden of responsibility for the world, recognize that I'm responsible for my own happiness as others are for theirs. Now, some of you might be looking at me thinking, you've got to be kidding, I have kids. Well, I think about this a lot. I have 3 kids of my own. They're wonderful, 15, 12, and 6. And I have come to the realization after almost 16 years of parenthood that I am not responsible for their happiness. I am, however, responsible for creating the conditions that enable that. Warm home, food, clothing, education, unconditional love. Same thing with leadership. When you create that space, that place for unconditional acceptance of people and give them that permission, they can find a happy place themselves. It's not up to you. Control. When you relinquish that need for control and perfection, it opens the doors for creativity and productivity. It's that simple. When you are in that perfectionistic place, it creates inertia. You're not moving forward, you're stuck. Grace gives you the permission to move forward. One of my clients says, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. I love that. So what is it that you need to do? Where do you need to be, high standards? It's not about, having a dirty house everywhere, but it's about knowing, all right, where do you need to have that high standard of perfection? Where do you need to lower that? And where can you just say, 60% is probably good enough here? How about the need to have all the answers? I don't think I mentioned that before, but sometimes as leaders, as professionals, we feel absolutely compelled when somebody asks us a question that, oh my God, I have to answer it just right. In fact, I got caught off guard at a speech that I did earlier this week. Somebody asked me about some international statistics, and I had the total deer in the headlights thing, and I just said, that is a great question. Does anybody else in the room have an answer to that? It's like fast recovery, but as a leader, you don't have to have all the answers. As a parent, you don't have to have all the answers. You simply need to be able to help others find the answers for themselves. Sometimes just asking the question is helpful enough. Thinking about skills, instead of torturing ourselves and figuring out, everything that we need to do and build and take on and do just so, to be able to do our jobs and live our lives the way that we want to, recognize that we can develop those skills that we absolutely have to have, or we can surround ourselves with others who have the skills that we don't have. We can complement our own strengths with the strengths of others. Or if we find ourselves in a job or in a position where we simply don't have the skills, then find a job or a position where you fit better. You can do that, you have that choice. The last is that happiness factor, and I will remind you that happiness is a state of mind, and it's achieved by being in the moment. It's not about looking back with regrets or questions. It's not about looking forward. Even when you're anticipating good things, it's about being in the moment. Thank you also to all of the exchange participants, alumni, and future participants for helping me create, grow, and sustain this wonderful community of women. And also thank you to all of you for taking part in the event today. With that, I will close. I will be here for a little while afterwards if you have any questions. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.